I honestly have no words about what just happened on FIM Fiction. After I watched the Avengers Endgame movie, I got this information. Zev, who is one of MythrilMoth's best friends, completely told everyone, about 1,000 people, that his brother, MythrilMoth, has passed away. And I was so surprised, considering that of what just happened after I got home and went back on this website. This was probably one of the most saddest things to ever seen on this website. For someone who's been writing stories for almost 7 years, Robert Morrison is probably one of the most inspiring fanfic writers of all time. Because I just cannot believe of how he had so much to do. Like, he really has so much ways to entertain us. But then, of what I saw when I got home, there's really nothing left. He had so much health problems that after everything that he went through, there's really no way we're ever going to see what he's going to do next afterwards. I really felt so shocked to think that we are not going to be able to forget about any of this, because it's just weird, because MythrilMoth has been in this fandom almost the beginning after season 2 was over, and I really don't know what to expect of what we're going to see when it comes to pretty much the rest of the year, because Friendship is Magic is almost over. And whenever I think of popular people with different talents in the fandom, I think of MythrilMoth. Here's something that I really miss about MythrilMoth, and that's his style. He completely does not only amazing stories, but also out of context screenshot theaters. His last one was a screenshot from the episode where Starlight Glimmer and Sunburst go to a village to meet their parents. And I completely and it was also my last video that I made a comment on before he passed away. And this was 4 days ago. He mentioned that he's sick in bed this weekend. No review of a new episode. Gave it a 8 out of 10. And even though that he didn't review the episode, he still gave it a normal review he still gave it something that it deserves. And that's not even the half of it. Not only does he do some reviews, and not to mention screenshots of material from either My Little Pony or Crusty Goers, his stories is probably the biggest factor. I was planning to do a fanfic reading in some of these stories, because most of them, while they may be mixed and he sometimes does adult context stuff, I still think that most of his stories really look really interesting and probably sometimes hilarious whenever he does something humorous with the character's situation. And I have to admit, I really miss him, because he does one of the most successful fanfics on this website for what he does and what he accomplished. Especially, he wrote 125 videos, with the final 125 stories, with the final being All Things Are Horse Things. And speaking of that, this was the final story before he passed away. And I really feel bad that he wasn't going to continue this, because this has been about a month old. And he really didn't know what to do next when it comes to, and he had a lot of time to think of what he's going to do with the story. And I was about to do a fanfic reading of it, but since that he's really gone, we will never probably get to see what's going to happen next. Unlike in my version, well, everyone got in safe and sound, his idea of making the ponies go through different routines and while trying to hide their profiles in Ponyville was something I actually wanted to do a fanfic reading, because you can tell that reading this story from beginning to end, you really wish that he was going to go somewhere with this, and something very unexpected, because the ending of Spring Breakdown was hilarious but also questionable at the same time. But considering the fact that what I just saw today, and that the fact that he passed away, I decided that I'm not going to do this fanfic reading, because I really don't do fanfic readings when stories aren't incomplete, when they're not complete. As much as I really didn't like the fact that MythrilMoth has passed away, I at least had to do something that actually makes up for the fact that he's really probably something that he deserves some kind of attention. So, what I mean is that MythrilMoth is 40 years old. Almost late in the prime, but at the same time, he really is a really nice guy. He enjoys reading, writing, playing video games, watching cartoons, watching anime, and a number of hobbies. But considering the fact that he's completely gone, and it's almost during the middle of season 9, I really got a feeling that this fandom is probably, even if it does have its problems in which I mentioned in my other videos, I still think that this is probably one of the most saddest but emotional thing we ever got from this fandom during the show's end. Because I really think that MythrilMoth is something that I really think that is basically one of the biggest examples of how to write perfect stories on FIM fiction. And even though I have some mixed opinions on doing some fanfic readings from his work, I still think that he probably needs some kind of attention, considering the fact that he's probably one of the best writers. And I really miss everything about him. He had great gimmicks, like the way that he completely did our contest screening. Some of the reviews that he did were interesting, and the fact that he is probably someone who we can easily relate to. And it's kind of really sad that it just came to this point that he is gone and he's up in heaven where he belongs. But at the same time, I'm pretty sure that the work that he has on most of his social media will live on forever, because he's a really inspiring writer who is so humorous and at the same time probably one of the best people on this website. I know I'm really going to be mostly disappointed that we're not going to see a lot of chapters/stories from him, but it's for the best. He delivered everything what he had for us. He did so much things that makes us really happy to be readers on this website. And it's something that I actually really wish that people like him would show people like us that we can easily improve just by reading some of their stories while also having a great time, which is his out of context screenshot theaters. It's just really sad to actually think that after everything that he's been through, over the past 7 years on this website, along with other social media that he began doing fanfic since 1997, I really think that he pretty much has everything that he really needs to prove. He isn't just perfect. He is one of the best writers I have ever seen. Despite the fact that he may be gone, we will never, ever forget him. If there's something that we want to give the Boring fandom, something that wants us to remember of how great our time was in this fandom, he is going to be part of that list of what he has accomplished and what he has did over the past several years on the internet. And then towards the end, we just don't know what's going to happen next. Like, what are we going to expect from the future after season 9 is over? And the fact that he really is gone and we don't know what to do next. In my opinion, I think what we really need to expect from this is that we really need to inspire and do some kind of inspiration from him. And that's the fanfics that he do. And that's the fanfics that he does. Anyway, I'm Lonely Fanboy 40 here. And even though that it's too late for any of you who hasn't known this guy since you're mostly a YouTuber and you aren't a fanfic, FIM fiction writer, which is on this website, I guarantee you that if you're new to this fandom, you really should show so much respect to MythrilMoth, because he is one of my favorite writers. And considering the fact that he has passed away and he really has nothing else, in the fact that we're not going to see a lot of work from him anytime soon, and obviously ever again, I can guarantee you of what we can learn from him is that he's probably one of the best writers. And I really don't think that there's going to be anyone who's going to do a lot of accomplish. And I don't think that there's going to be anyone who have the same style as him. We can only say that he's probably one of the saving graces of this fandom. Well, on fanfiction and some of his social media, but I think that FIM fiction is the one that got us really happy that this fandom was staying strong. Anyway, MythrilMoth, if you're watching this from the heavens, you're a great man. And I really hope that what you're going to do in heaven will be the best, will probably be something that will probably make you feel better, and it will probably make everyone else like us feel better. That way we can easily forgive you for all the effort you gave us. Because that's who you really are. I'm Lonely Fanboy 40 here. And show some respect and loyalty to MythrilMoth.